and outcome-based education OBE semester first, management and organizational behavior. Module 2 part 2. Part 2 is about organization. Here in this syllabus is organization definitions, need or importance of the organization, principles of organizing, process of organizing, organization structure, types of organization structures, span of control, centralization and decentralization of authority. First is organization. Let's, for example, all of you know Tata is a organization. It has many companies are there under the title Tata. Let's take for example Tata Motors produces the trucks. The term organization is used in many ways. It means different things to different. Currently, following uses of the terms are popular. Organization is a group of people united by a common purpose. It is a group of people, without human resource, there will be no organization. Next is a organization and entity. It is a business unit engaged in utilizing resources to create the result. As per the example, Tata Motors, it utilizes the raw materials, human resource, and produces the end result is this truck, Tata truck. The structure of relationship between various positions in an enterprise. Structure of relationships means organization structure, where from CEO, then general managers, then vice president, then under them managers, under them managers, junior managers, then the engineers come, under them the workers working under this uh, daily labors also come contract labors also come under that. Like this, the structure of the organization is structure of relationship between various positions in enterprise. Next, organization is a process. It is an ongoing process by which employees, facilities and tasks are related to each other with a view to achieve specific goal. Employees are working, they are related to the facilities provided to produce the end result. Produce the truck, employees need to work with the raw materials provided for them and apply their technology to and should do the job or the task to achieve a goal. Goal is here to produce the end result, that is a Tata truck. The static and dynamic. Here static organization is static means as a structure it is a organization is static. As we take as a dynamic means it is a process. Organization is a process. Both it is static and the dynamic. Interpretation of the term organization are quite commonly used and are explained below. Organization is static as a structure and it is dynamic as it is a process. Both it is a structure and it is a process. Organization in both ways we have to study. Three definitions are here. Lewis Allen defined organization as organization is the process of identifying and grouping work. Identify the work, then group it, that is division of the work to be performed, defining and delegating responsibility and authority. Organization is define and delegate the authority and responsibility, and establishing relationship for the purpose of enabling people to work most effectively together in accomplishing objectives. There should be a good relationship between the employees to work. If they work in cooperation, then objectives are achieved uh, in a short period of time. In the word of Allen, organization is an instrument for achieving organizational. Individually, I cannot work and achieve. One person cannot produce a truck if even he has a technology. We know we need different skilled people, different raw materials are needed to bring that raw materials. Also, he cannot go and bring all the raw material. It takes a lot of time to produce. If single person is working on to produce one truck, it may take 4 5 years. But if you take a more number of the people to work, then achieving the goal it becomes efficient. That means in a less time you can produce. The work of each and every person is defined and authority and responsibility is fixed for accomplishing the same. Wheeler defined organization as Internal organization is the structural framework of duties and responsibilities required for personnel in performing various functions within the company. It should be defined what are your roles and responsibilities in the company for a particular person. It is essentially to be blueprint for action resulting in a mechanism for carrying out function to achieve the goals set up by the company management. In a Wheeler view, organization is a process of fixing duties. Fix the duties to each person and responsibilities of each person in the enterprise so that the business goals are achieved. Coons and Ordinal, the establishment of authority relationships with provision and coordination between them. Authority and coordination. Establish the authority. The CEO has the authority, full and soul for the company over all the departments. Then comes the general managers. General managers' relationship with the CEO should be good and with their colleagues, that is, all the general managers of the other departments, personal department, department, production department, assembly department. Coordination between should be there to produce the end product. They should coordinate each other, both vertically and horizontally. Vertical communication should be there. That means from CEO to general manager, general manager to managers, managers to engineers, engineers to employees, contract laborers working under them. It should flow, communication should flow from top to bottom. And horizontally means each department should communicate unifyingly. They have to work to achieve the goal, produce the end result, the product. Vertically and horizontally in the enterprise structure. These authors view the organization as coordinating point among various persons in the business. Coordination. They give an emphasis on coordination in the organization, Coons and O'Donnell. Need and importance of the organization. Why organization is required, right? Why it is required? Individually can work now? No, it is not possible. Importance of this organization is emphasized here. First one is it enlarges the ability. Right. Single person is cannot be skilled in every aspect. So we have to work in group. It helps the individuals to enlarge in their capabilities. If in specific way is one person is specialized, we have to use his capabilities. Division of work enables an individual to specialize in the job which is proficient and which efficiency increases, leading to better utilization of the resources and the talents. Lifespan is very short. If you have longer, like if you live for 1,000 years, you can be specialized in every aspect. But we have a maximum lifespan of the human being is 100 years. Within that, you can be expert in a one thing. So, division of work, putting the persons in a particular field, it gives them experience and expertise in a particular field. We can utilize that expertise and their suggestions in achieving the goal in efficient manner. Next one is facilitates administration. Where there is organization, there is administration is required. It facilitates administration by avoiding waste motions, overlapping work. Two persons doing the same work, if there is no administration, no manager is there, no division of work is there, then two persons are working on the same thing, that is the one work is waste. Then duplication of effort is avoided if administration is there, so manager is required there. Departmentation enables proper planning of work. Departmentation enables proper planning of work. Confusion and misunderstanding over who is perform what work is avoided by specifying the role of the managers clearly. Proportionate and balanced emphasis is put on various activities. Next, facilitates growth and diversification. Organization facilitates growth and diversification. Sound organization helps in keeping activities under constant visual and control. Organization can undertake more activities without dislocation. Talents and resources are put to use. If there is an organization, they can make a good use of the talented people resources and With optimum utilization of this, can produce a goods with the minimum cost and of a good quality. Opportunities are seized quick and exploited fully, and when ultimately pay pay for growth and diversity. If multiple people are working on the same project, that will be completed in a short period of time. If we want to produce that in a short, if suppose one monument is building, 30,000 people are working, skilled people are working on in building that building, then that building will be finished within 1 or 2 years. If 10 people are working on that monument, then it will take a 30 years or more to build that monument. Like this permits optimum use of resources. Organization, what it does is human, technical, and material resources are put to good use. They utilize everything in optimum. Right persons are given right jobs. There is a proper allocation of work. People know that they are supposed to do well in advance. Necessary functions are determined and assigned. So personal and physical facilities are utilized effectively. Optimum use of all the resources will be done by the organization by organizing. Stimulates creativity. This how it offers us stimulating opportunities to people at all levels. They give them opportunity to explore their talent and skills, use their skills on the jobs best suited to their nature. If a finance department person is given a technical job, he can't do. If person is working in the finance department, any challenging job comes under the finance department, it should be passed to the finance department. Delegation helps people at lower levels to do more challenging work. Delegation, the process by which manager assigns a portion of his total work, leads to others. The higher ups, in turn, can concentrate on strategic issues, putting their creative abilities to good use. They concentrate on strategic decisions be taken at the top level. At the lower level, the delegation of authority is given to the people to take these smaller decisions at lower levels. Facilitates the coordination. Organization facilitates coordination between different departments. Every department is important in the organization. Organization is important way of achieving coordination among different departments of an enterprise. Clear authority relationships, proper assignment of the work facilitates the task of achieving coordination at all levels. Poor organization leads to improper or arrangement of duties and responsibilities. As a result, unimportant trivial issues are given top priority. Activities that should be integrated and centralized are spread out and put improper supervision. Incompetent individuals are overused while talented people are underutilized. Delays, duplications, waste motions occur while frustrating regularity. Expenses mount up. These would create utter confusion, chores, and conflict. Poor organization may mean improper arrangement of facilities and failure to achieve goal. Next is principle of organizing. Principles. We move on to next heading. Principle is basic statement, fundamental truth that provides understanding and guidance to thinking and practice. Over the years, number of the principles have been uh, developed in the management to aid executive thinking and action. Basic fundamental truth of organizing. How organizing is done. What are basic things are needed? If we want food to eat, basic things needed are rice or wheat. These are the basic things. Vegetables and all these gives proteins and vitamins. But what basic thing we need is rice or a wheat. This is the basic thing. Like this, these are the basic principles. According to the Massey, are only approximations of generalization from experience. They said that trial and error by approximations by their experience, they generalized the organizing, hence require careful application. The important principles of organization as listed by Coons may be as follows. The purpose of organizing. First one is purpose. Why this organization is existing. This is the purpose of the organizing. Organization should facilitate the achievement of the enterprise objectives in efficient way. Purpose of organization is to produce the end result to increase the profit. First one in this is Principle of unity of objective. Objective means goal. There is should be a unity in a goal. One goal should be there. Multiple goals confuse the employees working under them, and even collecting the resources will become difficult. An organization structure is effective when it helps the achievement of the enterprise objectives. Principle of organizational efficiency. Efficiency means how the all the facilities, human resource department, materials, and technology all are utilized in efficient way. The achievement of objective with minimum cost, minimum time, that is efficiency. An efficient organization structure operates without wastage of resources, minimum wastage of resources, maximum utilization of resources, offers clear line of authority and responsibility, and provides means for the personal department. Cause of organizing. Cause of organizing is span of management is a basic cause of the organization structure. Why is the organization structure? That is uh, how much this management is spread. But for the principle of span of management, firm would forever remain small, managed by only one manager. When the organization is small, that head person is managing. Suppose 10 employees are working under him, means everything is managed by one person only. A small firm, finance, IT, whatever is there, production, every department is handled by only one person. It's a span of management. When the organization grows, suppose 800 people are working in organization, then one single person cannot handle every department. Lot of work will be done. Then division or delegation of authority will be done. Principle of span of management. Manager should have a limited number of subordinates. Thousands together, 800, one single manager cannot handle. Report to him directly. Generally, the span should be short for a novel or complex work and long for routine simple work. Simple, if work is simple, for example, in textile industry, one supervisor, there will be a supervisor to handle hundreds of the employees who are tailoring, and somebody are packaging. 100 people are packaging. All of them are skilled in the same work. All of them are 100 people are doing the packaging only. Then one supervisor is enough there. If work is complex, then the subordinates need to be only 4 or 5 members under the manager. General manager, only 4 members are reporting. And then structure of the organization, authority. It is also one of the principles. Structure of the organization. Authority is a cementing force in every organization. Where there is a power, there is a control. So it is a cementing force in authority. It is a means by which group of activities can be put under manager. It enables the top management to coordinate enterprise work effectively. Manager can show proper direction and create environment for sound individual performance. First one is principal scalar chain. What is scalar chain? Chain of a command. Scalar chain is the clear and distinct line of authority among the positions in the organization. Distinction line is drawn. This is his authority, this is his, and his control, under his control. Scalar chain of command refers to the unbroken line of authority from top level to the bottom level of the organization. The clear chain of command facilitates communication from top to the bottom. Order is passed, command is passed from the top to the lower levels. The next second is principle of authority and responsibility. Yes, this is also, it's a chain. In the chain, there is a surpassing of authority and responsibility. Authority and responsibility goes hand in hand. Adequate authority must be given to the managers at the lower level. Superior must state clearly what he expects to his subordinate, when he expects it to be done by and by whom. The subordinate on his part must show good performance, following the directives of the superior. Responsibility in simple terms is obligation of subordination to perform the duty as required by the superior. He should be obliged to do. He should obey his order and fulfill his requirement, work hard or work smart. He should perform well. As a matter of principle, there should be a parity between authority and responsibility. As I told earlier, authority, where there is authority, there is a responsibility. Only authority is not there. Responsibility is there, and authority comes with that. Authority without corresponding responsible results in misuse of the authority. He don't have responsibility only as others. Randomly haphazard orders he will give. Whatever he want, he will order because he don't have any responsibility. He will order simply order. Ah, do this, do this. He don't have any responsibility. Well, responsibility in the absence of adequate authority brings about the frustration. Controlling for controlling, you need a power or authority. In government organization, what happens once the employees are hired, that is permanent job for them. There is no control over the subordinates. They don't fear his their superiors. So the outcome will be less in the government organizations. If you go to government offices where you have to wait for a long time, 2 3 days it will take for a 10 minutes job. Think about frustration and ineffective performance. More importantly, it should be noted here, responsibility is final and it cannot be redelegated. By delegating work to lower levels, superior is not relieved of his responsibility in any way. He is still responsible for the final results. He delegated some authority to his subordinate, but subordinate commits a mistake, then it is a responsibility of the superior authority. He is responsible for what the subordinate does. Principle of organizing, principle of unity of command. Unity of command. Command should come from only one person from top to bottom. If two persons are commanding to his subordinates, there will arise a confusion. The unity of command principle states that for any given activity, an employee should be made accountable to only one superior. He should report to only one superior. He should have only one boss. Authority level principle. Decisions within the authority of individuals should be made by them and not referred upward in the organization structure. Delegation would be futile exercise. In the subordinates wait at the doorsteps of the superior for an audience before they take actions within their authority. Fourth principle is the structure of the organization. Departmentation. The primary purpose of organizing is to provide basic structure in the form of the departmental framework. As we saw in the definition of organization, now one is static and one is dynamic. Dynamic organization means it is a process. Static means the structure of the organization. Both should be there. So it is a principle of organizing, that is the structure of the organization. Principle of functional definition, where there's this structure comes, then organization is divided into functional departments. Duties and authorities and responsibilities of every individual must be clearly stated. The departments like finance, marketing, sales, and assembly, production, then IT department is there in every organization now. People at various levels must know what they are supposed to do, when, and for whom. They must also know the limits to their behavior. Fifth principle is process of organizing. As in the definition we saw, organization is a process. Process of organizing becomes easy when following principles are applied sincerely. Principle of balance. The different departments and activities of organization should be given balanced and proportionate emphasis. Importance to every department should be equal in relation to their overall contribution to the objective. Principle of flexibility. Organization structure should not be a very rigid. It should be designed in a flexible way. It should be possible to effect changes in structure depending on the situation requirements. Principle of stability. As in the above point, we discussed the flexibility. It should be flexible. It should not be more flexible. Every day we cannot change the organization structure. Some stability should be there for not 2 years, after 5 years or 3 years. If we need to be change the organization structure as the organization develops. At the same time, organization structure should be reasonably stable. Stability refers to the organization's ability to withstand changes as to meet the stated organizational goals in an efficient manner. Principle of simplicity. Yes, structure should be simple so that personnel follow the assignment of the work and allocation of duties and responsibilities. This facilitates the leadership activity. For example, in network Organization structure, it is very confusing. Everybody is communicating, everybody is doing everything. And in matrix organization structure, most of the organizations not follow the matrix organization structure. It is very confusing. So organization structure should be simple. Process of organizing is a process by which employees, facilities, tasks are related to each with a view to achieve specific. It refers to the way work is arranged and allocated to among the member of the organization so as to achieve the goals. As a process organization, this refers to one of the important functions of the management, organizing. After planning, organization is a second step. According to Allen, organizing is a process of identifying and grouping the work to be performed, defining, delegating responsibility and authority, and establishing relationships for the purpose of establishing, enabling people to work most effectively together in accomplishing objectives. Process of organization thus involves the following steps. These are the five steps. The process of organizing: identifying work. Next is, after identifying what is the work, then grouping the work, group in different groups. Establish the relationships. Establish relationships between the different groups because they are working towards the same goal. Delegating authority. For each group, finance, production, IT, then IED department, assembly, production, all the departments should have some authority. Next comes providing for coordination and control. Coordination among all these five, six departments should be there. They should communicate often. That's why at the manager levels, every day they have meetings to coordinate. And control should be there. Take a work from the people, you should have. First one we discuss here, identifying the work. So we organize to achieve goal, objective. Organization is organized to achieve a goal. So it is essential to identify the total work necessary to achieve the goal. The work must be classified in systematic way so that each person in the organization gets the separate and distinct task. Work must be divided and distributed because no one can handle the total work in an organization single-handedly. Identification and classification of work enables managers to concentrate on important activities, avoiding unnecessary duplications and overlapping and wastage of efforts. Then second is grouping of work. After identification of the work, suppose identification of the work is for this year we are producing 3000 trucks. This is identification. 3000 trucks. Then division of the work creates the need for coordination. Work is next step is grouping of the work. Who will produce the wheel? Who will produce the main body? Who will produce the engine? Different departments will be there. Different people are skilled under different divisions. In order to provide for smooth flow of the work, all closely related and similar activities must be grouped together. Finance department is handling the financial aspects, so those people are grouped and put under the one department. Production department is there. Everybody is working producing that product. Other work they are not concerned to them. They all together should be one department. Thus, the departments and divisions are created under the direction of a manager. Establishing relationships, yes, it is very much necessary. Next steps after grouping of the work is done, then communication, coordination, and relationship between these groups should be uh, there. Otherwise, the common goal, achieving common goal, will become a facade. In order to secure compliance to the organizational directives, reporting relations should be specified. Reporting means subordinates report to their boss. Once the formal relationships are established, this person you have to listen to orders from this boss, then he will take only order from his boss. If somebody other department head will command him, he will not take the orders because he has to report to his boss, not him. It would help individuals know what must be done, how it must be done, to whom the matters must be referred, to whom it should be reported, how particular jobs relate to one another, etc. Without formal relationships, it would be difficult to process the total work because there is no way to know how the work is progressing, who is supposed to handle the work, where the work has to be coordinated so the achieve enterprise objectives. As soon as the formal relationships are established, they would provide framework for assigning duties and responsibilities to individuals in a clear fashion. Next comes after work is divided, then authority is divided, delegated. It is not division of authority, that is delegation. Some part of authority is given to the heads. Authority is right to act. Where there is authority, there is a power, there is a control. To issue the orders, the exact obedience from the others. Without authority, a manager may not be able to perform the task with the confidence and show results. While assigning duties, the manager should clearly specify authority and responsibility limits so that the subordinate knows well in advance as to what type of the work is expected of him by the superior. Providing for coordination and control, the interrelationships between various positions must be specified clearly. Activities and efforts of the various individuals must be coordinated. Performance must be measured, evaluated, and controlled at a frequent intervals. If deviations occur, they must be spotted early, and appropriate remedy step must be taken immediately. Next heading is organization structure. Structure of the organization. According to the classical theories, Henry Fayol, Frederick Taylor, and Max Weber, structure is Max Weber given a matrix structure. Structure is essential for achieving the stated goals. The manager determines the work activities to get the job done, writes job descriptions, put the people to the groups, and assign them to the superiors. He then fixes goals, issues deadlines, and establishes standards of performance. Operations are controlled through the reporting system. Whole structure takes the shape of the pyramid. Thus, the term organization structure describes the organization's framework. It reveals the established pattern of relationships among the constituent parts of the organization. According to Coons and O'Donnell, uh, organization is a structural relationship by which enterprise is bound together and framework in which the individual effort is coordinated. It is nothing but the chart of the relationships. However, organization is much more than the network of the formal, superior subordinate relationship. Informal relationships also play an important role in processing work. Organization as a structure has the following features. Features of the organization structure are two or more persons. Yes, of course, single person will not become organization. Organization is a group of people. Common goals. Every organization has a common goal. They have to achieve the common goal. Cooperative efforts. Yes. Person should work in cooperation to each other. Structure permits members to work in cooperative way without any friction. Members combine their efforts with the view to achieve the goal. Division of work. Work is divided into small parts and assigned people working at various levels. It ensures a speedy execution of the work. Communication. When there is a division of work, then divided works or people working on them should always communicate along the specified routes. Mainly, downward communication takes place in the form of the superior issuing commands to their subordinates. Rules and regulations. Every organization has rules and regulations. It is nature of the organization. Define even the top management, even the CEO of the company cannot give orders willfully. They also follow the rules of the company's policies of the company's regulations of the company. That is territorial jurisdiction of the members. Members have to observe and implement these rules consistently. Pyramidal shape. Organization structure takes the pyramidal shape because at the top level few people are working, at the bottom level more people are working, so it takes a pyramidal shape. Each superior will have a limited number of people reporting to him at any point of time. Next heading is types of organization structure. Organization structure means a system that outlines how certain activities are directed in order to achieve the goals of the organization. Types of organization structure. First is a functional structure. Four types of common organization structures are implemented in the real world. The first and most common is functional structure. Depending upon the function, each department is divided. Finance, production, assembly, then quality, then purchase department, sales department, marketing department, IT department, and breaks up the commonly based on the specialization of its workforce. Most common small to medium sized businesses implement the functional structure. Dividing the firm into departments consisting of marketing, sales, and operations is the act of using bureaucratic organizational functional structure. This is the example. Chief executive. Under him, functional manager. Here we can take a finance manager, CFO, and then comes the production manager, then again assembly manager, then IT manager, then quality manager. These all work under it, depending on their function. That manager is given the position, the department head given the position. Under him, certain staffs are working. Then division and multi-divisional structure. The second type is a common among the large companies with many business units called divisional or multi-divisional firms. Let's As the beginning, I take the Tata. Tata, we didn't call it Tata as an organization, Tata Group, because so many divisions are there. Multi divisions are there in the Tata. From salt to the truck, so many. Even in software, they have Tata Consultancy is for software, and Tata Motors is there, Tata Salt. So many products are there from the Tata. The company that uses this method structure is a leadership team based on the products, projects, and subsidiaries they operate. The good example of this structure is Johnson and Johnson. With the thousands of the products and lines of the business, Johnson and Johnson have many products, pharmaceutical products, cosmetic products. Uh, Depending on the product, different plants or units are there, unit heads are there, company structure itself. So each business unit operates its own company with its own president. Divisions may also be designed geographical in addition to specialization. For instance, a global corporation may have a North American division, European division, Asian division. Like this, the same plant may be operating in different continents depending on the geographical heads will be there. Divisional structure. See, for example, divisional structure. US also one plant is there, in Europe also one plant is there, in Asia also one plant is there. For every plant, there will be a division head for that plant. Under that, again, production, marketing, sales, production, marketing, each department, depending on the functional departments will come under the each division. It is a divisional structure. Then multi-divisional structure. How for example, Tata, I am telling from the beginning, Tata has many production units. uh, they have a Tata Motors trucks. Now they are manufacturing cars, and even from the salt, they have many organizations. Tata is there in education apps are there. Tata and mm, they provide these service for Tata Click is there for like a Flipkart. It is selling the products online. So many companies are there under the Tata. So depending on the functional structure, oil division, if it is producing the oil, oil division. It is the pharmaceutical division, same company. It is a Tata Motors. Plastic division, if they are producing plastic, the plastic division is there. Multi-divisional structure it is. Next type is team based. Similar to divisional or functional structures, team-based organizations segregate. Team-based organizations, it is used in the softwares. Usually, four employees are given to one team lead to close knit teams of the employees that serve particular goal and functions. Each team is a unit that contains both leaders and workers. For example, Team Saradishi sees CEO marketing. Under him, marketing and sales heads are there. Here it is the production department. Under him, development and design departments are there. Under there, these managers again, the employees are reporting to them. Like this is a team based type of the organization structure. The flat organization structure, flatter organization structure, or horizontal organization structure. Horizontal means these functional heads, general manager of finance department, general manager marketing, general manager production, general manager IT. These all are horizontal. This is horizontally they are equal, but they need to communicate. This is a horizontal structure, relatively newer. It is used among many startups. As a names alludes, it flattens the hierarchy and chain of command and gives its employees a lot of autonomy. Companies that use this type of structure have high speed of implementation. For example, president, VP, vice president marketing, vice president human resource, vice president finance, vice president operations. Under them, again, the employees are working, but these are horizontal. They have most likely equal importance and authority. Then comes the matrix structure. It is a complex structure. Firms can also have matrix structure, but most of the organizations will not prefer this because it is very confusing. It is also most confusing and least used. This structure matters example across the different superiors, divisions, departments, and employee working for a matrix. For example, may have duties in both the sales and customer service. Matrix structure. It will be like this. This person is working for production head and US department head. Both. This person is working under marketing department under the US department head. Both. So it is a complex. So matrix structure is avoided. Types of the organization structure, circular structure. Circular structure are hierarchical, but it is shown in the circular chart. They are said to be circular as it places the higher level employees and the managers at the center of the organization because it is centralized. At the center, CEO will be there. The concentric rings expanding outward, which uh, contain lower level employees and the staff. Outer level is lower level employees. This way of organizing is intended to encourage open communication and collaboration among different ranks. Like this, the circular structure is at the center. CEO is there, working under him vice presidents of all the departments will come, then the directors of all the different departments will come, and under them the CEO, manager, SEO manager, recruitment coordinator, people operations specialist, all these outer rings. Lower level managers will come at the outer levels. Next type of the organization structure, last one is network structure. Network structure is used where they have different headquarters in different geographical areas, dispersed satellite offices, along with the key functions outsourced to the other firms and consultants. You say Flipkart is there in Bombay and in Bangalore, in almost all the metropolitan cities. That is there. It is dispersed, uh, but Bangalore headquarters also supplies the goods from the Bombay. They need to communicate. The communication is like a network structure. No hierarchy will be there in such structure like this. It is head of the manager is managing every geographical area head, and they need to communicate each other. Every geographical heads need to communicate each other because the goods are coming from everywhere and it is dispersing to the every other location, so they need to communicate each other. Network structure will be like this. Next setting is span of control. Span of control can be defined as the total number of the direct subordinates that a manager can control. The need of subordinates managed by the manager varies depending on the complexity of the work. For example, manager can manage 4 to 6 subordinates when nature of work is complex, whereas numbers can go up to 20, 15 to 20 subordinates for repetitive and fixed work. The term span of control is popularly used in business management and human resource management because the term is related to the management and controlling of the employees. While controlling how much you can control, is the span. The meaning of the word is total number of the subordinates the manager or superior can manage. That is the span of control. In past, one manager was capable of managing 1 to 4 subordinates. Because of that, there were many levels of the management in one organization. It is with the introduction of information technology in the business, many organizations flattened their management by reducing number of managers in an organization. After that, span of one manager increased from 1 to 4 and 1 to 10 subordinates. This was possible because of the inexpensive information technology. Technology helped in easing out several middle managers' tasks such as collection and manipulation of the operation information. Because of this, manager became capable of managing more subordinates at one time. It can be of two steps. Narrow, wide span of control. It is considered to be narrow when manager has 2 to 4 subordinates. Advantages of narrow span of control is manager can supervise each of his subordinates because very less people are working under him. He can concentrate on every employee. The nature of the work is usually complicated because very few people are working, everyone used to do every work. Effective communication between subordinates and their manager will be there. More layers in the hierarchy of the management. Advantages of narrow span, disadvantages of narrow span of control. Too much control over the employees might hamper their original talent and creativity. Extended hierarchy of control results in long time decision making. For example, police, while working people on the strike, or the police have given the guns but needed permission to fire. They are not, if um, people act cruelly on them, if they start beating them, they need order from their superior to fire. Like this it will be if the narrow span of control is there. Narrow span of, if you are giving gun to the policeman, then he should have a control of operating it. No need to take a, depending on the circumstances, he used to use his power or his gun to turn the people. Narrow span of controlling prevents the cross-functional problem solving. On the other hand, span of control is wide when the manager manages or controls up to 20 subordinates. Advantages of wide span of control. In a wide span of control, subordinates are more independent, fewer layers in the hierarchy of the management. Nature of work is repetitive. Same work, all the people are performing the same work. Less direct communication between subordinates and the managers, because too many subordinates are working under them means communication is less. If 100 people are working under one supervisor, because everybody is, suppose everybody is doing the packing the shirts, same work everybody is doing, no need of many managers there, one is enough there. Disadvantages of wide span of control. Ineffective management. Management is ineffective because of the more number of subordinates are reporting to him. Increased workload on managers. Manager has a huge work. Role of team members are not clearly defined. Less communication between managers and subordinates reduces control of the manager. Next and last heading is centralization and decentralization of the authority. We heard that centralized ESC, the hotel centralized locking in the cars, right? Centralization is said to be process where centralization of decision making is in few hands. That is centralized. All important decisions and actions are at the lower level. All subjects and actions at the lower level are subject to the approval of the top management. According to the Allen, centralization is a systematic and consistent reservation of authority at the central points in the organization. Implication of the centralization can be reservation of decision making power at the top level, reservation of operating authority with the middle level managers, reservation of the operation at the lower level at the direction of the top level. Under centralization, the important and key decisions are taken by the top management, and the other levels are to be implementations as per the directions of the top level. For example, in the business concern, father and son being the owners decide about the important matters, and all the rest of the functions like the product, finance, marketing, personal are carried out by the department heads, and they have to act as per the instruction order of the two people. Therefore, in this case, decision making power remains in the hands of the father and son. Very few people are making the decision here. It is centralized decision making. On the other hand, decentralization. Decentralized is systematic delegation of authority. It is above the delegation. Decentralization is above the delegation. If delegation of authority is done properly, then there is decentralization. Delegation of authority at the all levels of the management in all of the organization. In the decentralization concern, authority in retained by the top management for taking major decisions and framing policies concerning whole. Rest of the authority may be delegated to the middle level and lower level of the management. Degree of centralization and decentralization will depend on the amount of the authority delegated to the lowest level. According to Allen, decentralization refers to the systematic effort to delegate to the lowest level of the authority except that which can be controlled and exercised at the central part. Full authority is not given. There will be some control. They have to report to their boss. Decentralization is not same as the delegation. Delegation is giving us some power to their subordinate, and he should report it to their higher authority, and higher authority is responsible for the mistakes or the good deeds done by subordinates. His achievements also rewards his boss. Decentralization is not as delegation. Is extension of the delegation. Decentralization pattern is wider in the scope and authorities are diffused to the lowest most level of the management. Delegation of authority is complete process. Takes place from one person to another, while decentralization is a complete only when fullest possible delegation taken place. That is the decentralization. Let's take an example of the AC. Centralized AC, one AC machine will be providing, one duct will be there. From the same machine, the cold air is coming and outlets will be there everywhere in the hotel space. That is centralized AC. AC machine will be only one, will be huge machine. But duct will be provided in the top, will be in a U shape or some round shape, but the cold air is coming from the only one machine. If we provide different AC machines, 4 5 AC machines are provided in the room, big hall, then it is a decentralized. For example, the general manager of the company is responsible for receiving leave application for a whole of a concern. Then general manager delegates his work to the personal manager who is now responsible for receiving the leave applications. General manager is receiving from the contract labor's leave application. He is received by the general manager and issuing a permission to leave. It give huge burden for him. If he delegates his authority to permit a leave to his subordinates, then there is a decentralization. This is a situation delegation of authority has taken place. On the other hand, on request of the personal manager, if general manager delegates his power to all the departmental heads at all levels, in this situation, decentralization has taken place. Centralization and decentralization of authority. They is saying that everything that increases the role of the subordinates is decentralization, and that decreases the role is centralization. Decentralization is wider in the scope and subordinates' responsibility increases in this. On the other hand, in delegation, the managers remain answerable even for the acts of the subordinates to their superiors. Implication of decentralization. How to implement it? Decentralization. There is a less burden on the chief executive in the case of centralization. In decentralization, subordinates get chance to decide. They have authority to take decision and act independently, which depends on skills and capabilities. This way, the organization is able to process reserve of the talents in it. In decentralization, diversification and horizontal can be easily planted. In decentralization, certain diversification of activities can place effectively since there is a more scope for creating new departments. Therefore, diversification growth is of degree. In decentralization structure, operations can be coordinated at divisional levels, which is not possible in the centralized setup. In case of decentralization structure, there is a greater motivation and morale of the employees since they get more independence to act and decide. Decentralization structure, coordination to some extent is difficult to maintain as there are lot many department divisions and authorities delegated to maximum possible extent to bottom most level delegation reaches. Then coordination becomes difficult there. Centralization and decentralization are categories by which pattern of authority relationship becomes clear. The degree of centralization and decentralization can be affected by many factors like nature of operation, volume of the profits. If volume of profit is very low, then decentralization is not required. Everything will be centralized, then work also centralized and profit also centralized. The number of departments, how many departments are there, size of the concern, size of the organization, on that also centralization and decentralization of authority affects the large size of the concerned. Decentralization setup is suitable in it. As the organization grows, size of the organization is large, decentralization works there. End of